We've had some big news. Nicola Sturgeon has announced that she's going to quit Holyrood at the 2026 election. It's the end of a 27-year-long career. She says she's sad to see the back of it, but she's excited about the new opportunities. She's obviously got a book out later this year, which she said in interviews today will be candid, but it is the end of an era. She even argued potentially the end of a generation at the next Holyrood election.
Sometimes it takes a little while for what you know you're feeling inside to settle and for you to think, yes, now is the time to make the announcement. But I've been a member of the Scottish Parliament for, by the time of the election next year it will be 27 years. That is almost exactly half my life. Being one of the original members of Holyrood, serving for that length of time, representing Glasgow Southside, the best constituency in Scotland, all of that has been a privilege beyond words and a privilege beyond the imagination of the 16-year-old me who joined the SNP all these years ago. So it's been an amazingly fulfilling first phase of my life, but the time is right for me to turn the page on that and to embrace the opportunities that lie ahead. And while I'll be sad to leave Holyrood behind, I am looking forward to all that the future has to offer. When you're wrestling with a decision, even if deep down inside you know what the decision is going to be, and I think I've known that for a while, once you say it out loud, you feel a sense of relief. So yeah, of course I feel that. I feel sad because we are talking here about me turning the page on my life so far. I've dedicated my life to trying to make Scotland a better place. I've dedicated my life to public service, and I've had such a range of privileges as part of that. So I feel sad to be leaving that behind, to be leaving friends and colleagues behind. But that sadness is more than matched by the excitement I feel about doing new things. And I'm looking forward to that hugely. Without going into detail about the issues you've mentioned there, if none of that had happened, I think it is 99.99999% certain that I'd still be standing here announcing this decision today. It is to do with a life stage and a point that I have reached in my life where almost 30 years as an elected frontline politician, I feel that's long enough. I'm sure there are many people across the country who also feel that's long enough. So it's the right time for me. We've talked about relief, sadness, excitement. Of course there's always a bit of apprehension when you take a leap and decide to do something different. But I know in my heart and my soul, as well as my head, that this is the moment for me to make this announcement. I'm going to represent my constituents for the next year. I love Glasgow Southside. I love its people, its places, its landmarks. It's in my heart and always will be. And probably my greatest sadness is going to be no longer representing them. But I'll do that for the next year, and then I'm looking forward to doing different things. But I'll continue also to pursue causes that mean a lot to me. I don't think it says anything other than the party and possibly the Parliament is at one of these moments of, it's maybe a bit of hyperbole to say generational change, but there's a sense of that in this election. A lot of the SNP members who are standing down, I'm thinking like friends of mine like Fiona and Shona, they are fellow 1999ers, people who've been in here since day one. It's a long time, and there comes a moment when it's not just right for individuals to move on, it's right for the institution. And I think it would be good for the Scottish Parliament to have a sort of influx of new blood, new energy, new thinking, hopefully from all parties after the next election.
Well, Nicola Sturgeon has made a huge contribution to Scottish politics and public life in the work of the Scottish National Party, in the Scottish Parliament and in the Scottish Government. And she is not only the first woman to hold the office of First Minister, but to be the longest serving First Minister in the history of devolution. So she's made a huge contribution to public life. There are some important elements of her legacy that are improving the lives of people in Scotland today, particularly of our children, especially I think of the expansion of early learning and childcare or the introduction of the Scottish Child Payments. So lives have been enhanced as a consequence of the work that Nicola Sturgeon has undertaken. I thank her for all of that work, and I wish her well for the future. Nicola Sturgeon was always a very, very driven Minister and First Minister. She set out a very bold agenda within Scotland, and I did all that I could to support the delivery of that agenda as Deputy First Minister. I think she's made a huge contribution to public life in Scotland. I'm sure she'll continue to make a contribution to public life in the future, albeit in a different way to the way in which she has done it in Parliament. But I think we can look back on a parliamentary career and a career as First Minister that's made a huge and positive impact on the lives of people in Scotland.
I've never been a Nicola Sturgeon fan, to be honest, and I think she's let Scotland down pretty badly. I have friends who are SNP supporters, and they've been pretty gutted the past couple of years, the way things have been conducted.
No, I liked her.
Why?
Just like what she stands for.
Yeah, and what does she stand for?
Well, the Scottish people.
Yeah, do you think she's right to do that, or do you think perhaps maybe the SNP could maybe do with her back?
Aye, they definitely could.
I think she was good for the national movement, but I think it's a shame how it all went down. Yeah, I mean, look, what mileage did she have left, you know? That was probably about it.
Do you think that's maybe had a bearing on her decision to go?
Probably. Why wouldn't it be? Yeah, I think she probably hadn't really much else to do.
I would say good luck to her and whatever she decides to do next.
I mean, she's decided that she obviously wants to look at other opportunities and obviously step away from politics. Are you surprised at that?
No, not really. She's done a lot for Govan Hill. I don't know how maybe she figures she can't take it any further. But I've stayed here quite a while and she's done well for the area, so good luck to her. That's all I can say really.
Nicola Sturgeon's decision to step down from Holyrood in 2026 is almost certainly going to spark debate about her legacy. She would point to things like the Scottish child payment and changes to how care experienced children are looked after, as well as probably her time leading Scotland through the pandemic. However, there'll be people who point at things like Operation Branch Form and obviously the long-standing controversial self-gender, self-ID reforms as well. Lots of things to chew over here in Holyrood, but in terms of Nicola Sturgeon's future, she's only got about a year and 2 months left, and then she'll be a matter for history to judge.
Becoming the first female First Minister of the country, introducing the Scottish child payment right now, lifting 100,000 kids out of poverty, doubling early years education and childcare, improving access to university for people from backgrounds like mine. These are all things I'm hugely proud of, and I think these are things that will continue to make a difference in Scotland for a long, long time to come. Of course I've regrets. Any politician of almost 3 decades standing that tells you they have no regrets is not being honest with you. So I've got plenty of regrets, but it's for other people now and no doubt into the future to come to their own judgments of all of that.
What's your biggest regret? Surely there's one that sticks out amongst...
I really regret that we came so close but not close enough to winning independence in the referendum. I really regret that. Of course I regret that we didn't do more to close, under my time in leadership, do more to close the education attainment gap. But I'm also proud that there are more young people from backgrounds like mine going to university than ever before, that we have doubled early years education and we're lifting children out of poverty. Poverty, of course, being the key driver of the attainment gap in the first place.